Mainstream media is touting Nikki Haley as a prominent contender to challenge Donald Trump in the Iowa Caucus, even over Ron DeSantis. But how does that compare to the public's opinion? We geofenced and then scraped the internet for conversations on Nikki Haley, specifically in Iowa, and compared them to that of Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. Additionally, we separated sentiment from news outlets versus public online comments. As of January 2nd, of the total public conversation, Nikki Haley only generates 12%, with DeSantis barely ahead at 12.2%, leaving Donald Trump dominating 75.8% of real online conversation. Much of this conversation was due to the removal and subsequent reinstatement of Trump on the Colorado ballot. Drivers for conversation on Nikki Haley were from not mentioning slavery when asked about the causes of civil war. Following this, Nikki Haley began to mention slavery more frequently, prompting questions about whether this was her way of backtracking from her previous comments. Online commenters bashed her as being a choreographed candidate and an embarrassment to the Republican Party. While these topics dominated online data, news sources published a poll showing Nikki Haley tying Ron DeSantis' position in the 2024 GOP primary, suggesting that she is gaining momentum as a contender. In the news, the volume of conversation is much higher for Haley, with 25.9% of the total share, followed by DeSantis at 27.6% and Trump leading at 46.4%. Nikki Haley's conversation in the news can be credited to them now describing her as the most credible threat to Donald Trump, and a candidate to watch out for in Iowa and New Hampshire. But according to their own polls, only 16% of Republicans choose Nikki Haley as their first choice. According to news sources, sentiment for Nikki Haley is optimistic, positioning her as a noteworthy candidate. She has garnered positive attention, especially for being the sole female candidate participating in the Iowa Caucus. Online, however, conversation for Nikki Haley is overwhelmingly negative. Individuals express their opinion that she is not suitable for GOP leadership and stands no chance against Trump. Comments of Haley being deceitful, malevolent, and choreographed are consistently observed in online conversations. In conclusion, while many news sources present Nikki Haley as a hot contender in Iowa, citizens online do not agree with her beliefs and express strong dislike for her. From this data, we see this as a wishful media narrative.